The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome all to another wonderful day at the headquarters of Technical Trading and Investing, TFNN.com, with your lovable and huggably soft host, David White. We meet each day between 2 and 3 Eastern Time and talk stocks. A little shop out here. Today in history, we had in now I'm going to have to check on it. 1951, just wanted to make sure. Truman relieved MacArthur from his duties in Korea, fighting the commies. And now what do we have? 60 years later, we're toe-to-toe with the same communists. This time they have nuclear weapons. So, I don't know. The question of whether or not to leave us sleeping dogs lie, very interesting. Of course, on one side we left 2 generations of people to live in poverty and as slaves to basically just the worst kind of leaders of humanity. Normally 5-10 million people die a year from starvation. Half the people live on grass in North Korea. So I don't know. Maybe old MacArthur was right. What can you say? A lot of people. There's always that alternate history thing. One day, if we get nuked by North Korea, everybody will say, well, maybe Truman wasn't right to pull back MacArthur, and maybe we should have just settled it right then. When you have an evil person or an empire, maybe it's time to face someone that doesn't cost near the amount of lives as it did before. Can you think what it would have been like if someone had the guts to go over and whack Hitler in 1931 or 2 when he was starting to rise to power? But there is no alternate history. Those people that do things preemptively get railed on as horrible people. Those people that allow somebody like Hitler to flourish seem to never have to pay the price. So, what can you say? I kind of thought that maybe he was right. I know it would have led to a huge ongoing war, and at that time, most people probably wouldn't have liked it. Anyway, this day in 1951. What else do we got going on? We've got a lot of news coming on out here. We'll get to the markets in just a second. I want to actually get to the volume at the moment. Let me pull that up real quick. As I actually was just bumping into Tom O'Brien downstairs, leaving to go to the television studio. He will be on in the 3 o'clock hour on Bloomberg. So if you want, during the 3 o'clock hour, you might check out Bloomberg and see him. I'm not exactly sure when he'll be on. Maybe the guys in the control studio can ask somebody when exactly he's due on. But I know it's sometime in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll try to find that out so you can pop over there and find out exactly when that's going to be. But he will be on Bloomberg talking about gold. The first time on Bloomberg in about 7 years. So it's been a while since he's been back. Anyway, we're looking at the S&P out here. Wanted to see just how it was doing. We got 1592, a little bit off the top, about 5 points off the top, 2.2 billion shares. And what can we say? It's light volume back up here at the top. We're going to get into some very interesting mathematics, the way that options work, because we are in options expiration, and we have one of the few times where we're getting a huge signal in the options market, and we'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. Of course, I'd been warning our friend Max down there in Houston to stay away from Intel. He wanted to buy it. I'm hoping he didn't. Maybe he can call in and tell me that he didn't buy it, and I'll feel a little bit better. But we were kind of warning about all these tech stocks are probably not going to bottom until sometime in the mid-summer. And maybe by May. But we still have a couple more months to go. Of course, numbers came out from IDC. IDC has been collecting computer sales numbers since 1994. I used to watch them all the time. It was always interesting to see just what was selling, what wasn't. But they basically take numbers in for PC, servers, mainframes, basically go through all that so that they can tell at any one time just how the computer business is doing. But what they found out is global shipments fell to the worst numbers. This is now 8 consecutive quarters of dropping sales for PCs. And, of course, that can't be do well for Microsoft or Intel. But you can read it here on Tiger TV if you want. But this is just it. It seems clear that Windows 8 launch only didn't provide a positive boost to the PC market, but it appears to have slowed the market. Goldman Sachs cuts Microsoft from a sell to a neutral, and I'm going to get into what that's about. And that is the long knives are out for Ballmer. They decided to give him a year and the launch of Windows 8. They have. It is over. The long knives, and the only thing that Ballmer has between him and the door and being the next guy like JCPenney from last week is Bill Gates. Bill Gates put him in there, I suspect, to keep the stock about where it was at. Don't take any huge risks, because I'm going to be selling stock every week, every month, every year for the next 10 years. And I want it to just, I want you to stay up there and just be nice if it grows, but I don't want you to take any big risks. Unfortunately, they did the one cardinal sin, and I'm going to probably flesh this out a little bit further as I have time. I'm going to do maybe a white paper on it, but how poorly CFOs do in tech companies as CEOs. I suspect the same reason that the gentleman at JCPenney that ran Apple's wonderful, at least everybody says wonderful, retail operations went to there and fell flat on his face, is there is a personality type. And those people that want to bring innovation probably shouldn't try to be bringing it on in the late stages. There is the revolutionary and the evolutionary. And the evolver. And revolutions like 1776 in our country basically lead to a lot of deaths and eventually one clear winner and the others banished. Evolutionary is just moving people along from something new. And pretty much when Herb Greenberg comes out against you and says that you're done, you're pretty much done. And he is doing that today. Herb Greenberg writes a lot on CNBC sometimes, but kind of the nuts and bolts guy when you want to get into the numbers. But he's basically saying he's done, and I suspect now that we're probably going to see the push. Now, unfortunately, Bill Gates still has so many shares that it will not matter if anybody else wants to get rid of Ballmer. So I'm wondering if Bill will finally come to the conclusion that he has made a mistake. But the only thing that's really been hugely successful that wasn't successful, a new project or product since he took over in 2000, was the Xbox 360, and he had nothing to do with it. In fact, he didn't think it was going to amount to much, so he handed it off to some other people that actually turned it into a huge moneymaker. Everything else from the iPod MP3 players was a failure. He tried to actually buy Yahoo at, $30 a share, and that would have been a colossal failure. He's bought, so far, Skype and for $8 billion. He could have duplicated it internally for $500 million, $600 million, and the question is whether or not that's going to be a good deal from them. I think there's some things that could be very good, but you don't need a nice soldier that sits in the background, doesn't say anything but, yes, Mr. President. At this point, you need somebody that's going to go in there and say, hey, let's go kill the goddamn Russians. And that's, you need a pit dog at this time to go out and start moving Microsoft forward, or we basically say it's JCPenney and eventually we're just not going to have any new products and our business is going to go away. Probably the thing hurting Microsoft the worst from these IDC numbers is that business computer sales were okay. What really hurt were the retail sales numbers. And I'm going to basically write why those retail sales numbers are probably getting less and less tomorrow in my Tech Insider newsletter. I think it's actually, there's two things, and one, no one has talked about at all. And I'm going to get into that second part in my Tech Insider newsletter tomorrow. They basically gave him one more shot after everybody said we weren't going to give Ballmer any more shots. Look for that stock to pop, but first they need to find the right guy to run Microsoft. And to tell you the truth right now, I think it would be kind of hard to find that guy. I know who I would probably pick, and I'll probably write about that in the newsletter tomorrow also. Software giant Microsoft tried to kick out some decent news today to actually paper over the problems. They're basically saying that they've got a 7-inch version to go up against everybody else's small tablets, probably available in October. So far, they have sold less than 1 million of the Surface tablets, and it's not because the product isn't any good, because I've played with one and looked at developing at it. It has a lot of features the other tablets don't. They have failed to exploit many or any of those so far, as I can tell, I'm just, it's very tough for me to see them spend $1.5 billion on advertising, and where they probably could have cut off and made it $500 million in advertising and spent $1 billion getting people to write software for it. And I think that they would have been better off at the end. The best piece of hardware is probably, and even operating systems, probably not worth anything if people will not write software for it. They've gotten the idea from Ballmer that he's more than willing to put something out there and see if the world goes after it. But he needs software to drive it. I can think of 3 or 4 wonderful applications. It needs one killer app, and he has not gone out and gotten that killer app yet for that product. We talked a little bit, and we're probably going to have to finish this up in the next segment, but if you heard in the first hour of the Tom O'Brien show last night, I called in about Bitcoin and what is happening in that. In fact, maybe that's what I'm missing. Oh, there it is, the Bitcoin. It is halted for the next 8 hours, probably 8 hours. 9 or 10 hours. It finally blew up. It got down to about $108 this morning. It was trading at $120 where they shut the exchanges down. We'll be talking a little bit more about that in a few minutes. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Anyway, Z in the Den asked a question about Bitcoin last week. I said, well, kind of watch out for this thing. There's a few problems with it. One, the feds are after them because terrorists are using it to transfer money around since there's no way to tell how it moves across borders. So I figured that it's going to be shut down anyway fairly soon. The other thing is that it's basically a Beanie Babies pyramid scam. And a little bit of that. But what we had yesterday is Bitcoin, the alternate money system, virtual money system, was designed by a hacker to move tenths and hundredths of a penny around for like click-throughs and stuff like that. It was a way of keeping score of very minute amounts of money. That hacker, who's never been identified, that put this thing together, ended up either selling it out or it's not really understandable to two Americans in Japan that have set up an exchange some reason because of the rules and regulations in Japan. They are running it out of there. Anyway, the classic bubble yesterday hit 265 earlier in the day, got down and hit 110 bucks. Bounced up to 150, and as last I checked was out at about 120 bucks before they closed trading. If you're watching on Tiger TV, you'll see what it says up there. First they said that they were attacked by hackers. Then they said that they were attacked by too many people wanting to get in on it. And all the people wanting to sign into it caused it to crash. And probably none of those things are true. You got two guys hanging out in a basement somewhere in Japan, expats not doing this in America for various reasons, most likely, assuming that they would get prosecuted for money laundering, because they would have to at least do the same kind of accounting and finding out who the money is going to, and I guess not a big deal in Japan, so they're over there right now. Anyway, this thing's blown up. Look for it to go down to probably some kind of realistic value. But people will, it is a casino. It is what it is. But just know that it has quit trading, and I don't suspect that it's going to get any better when they reopen it yet again. Their arguments are rather pathetic. And this is a classic pyramid scheme where there's nothing underlying in the, or even a true value under it. We've seen these things with Beanie Babies and other things. If you want to check it out and watch how it trades from now on, you can go to bitcoin.clarkmoody.com and check it out. But not a whole lot to see now other than to know how to spot pyramid schemes and bubbles. This one is fairly easy to notice. I suspect we'll probably see the feds come after these guys in a week or two for money laundering, since it was available to U.S. customers. One of the things I did want to bring up is there is a real company going after this, backed by real people. Andreessen Horowitz, which is the big venture capital firm, has a company called Ripple, and you can check them out if you're interested in getting in alternative currencies. Ripple.com is the website for it. I'll be writing about this in the Tech Insider tomorrow. I didn't know that Bitcoin was going to blow up yesterday, but I knew it was getting ready to. It was an easy bubble to spot. But Ripple, if you don't know who Andreessen Horowitz is, Mark Andreessen, who was in my computer club at the Supercomputer Center at Champaign-Urbana, Illinois in 1990. He left, I left in what, 1989? Yeah, 89, 90? Yeah, I can't even remember now. He left a year and a half later. He was actually in the Supercomputing Center, to go put together Netscape and go down that road with the owner of SGI. Well, I've talked about him a few times. But Andreessen Horowitz is a big venture capitalist firm, and they are behind this, and actually real guys putting real money. I don't know if it's going to work any better, but they are going to be at least registered with all the countries that they're in, and actually do this in a manner that the federal government won't come after them for money laundering. Kind of going to be interesting. I don't know now that this is blown up if people will after getting bit by Bitcoin, if Ripple will become something on that. But at least a real company, real people that have real things to lose behind it, not two guys in a basement in Japan somewhere. So you might check that out, ripple.com. Interesting. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
I had a question in the den, and that was kind of what my background was. I was working for a company in Urbana, Illinois, and we were selling software around the country for computer graphics applications, and just happened to be there. Wasn't anything, and I just happened to be cross-trained in computers and video applications and video editing, and a lot of video production techniques. And one of our customers actually was a retailer, too, of products to television stations in Hollywood and that kind of stuff. And I just happened to bump into a couple people that were had a company that sold stuff to them. They were a splinter of Scientific Atlanta. They had left just a couple of years earlier, a year earlier, and basically they wanted me to come on as a sweat equity partner after I gave them, told them how to design 2 products that the market would really like. So the first one, we thought we'd sell about 500 in the first year. We ended up selling about 1,500 in the first 3 months, and then I gave them another idea for another product, and it sold well and had huge margins. We were making them for about $150. Retail on them was about $1,000, which is pretty much unheard of. Their business was in making black boxes, mostly for televisions at the time, television stations. So anyway, they were making massive margins, selling huge amounts of product. They said, hey, just come to us and just come up with new ideas for products to sell. And that's what I did for the next, 6-7 years until the company went public. When it did, I came on down here to avoid huge and massive taxes. And since then, I've pretty much within a year after it went public, pretty much became a full-time trader. It was just a few months before the big collapse of long-term capital management in October of 1998. And that was my introduction to full-time trading. Talk about getting dropped into it thing. But the question, I guess, was where I meet Marc Andreessen, and he was part of the computer club at the Supercomputer Center in Champaign-Urbana at the time. I always liked it because there was a little company on the interstate that went through there that was HAL Computer Labs, and it was actually named long before the movie 2001. But HAL is just one letter, of course, different than IBM. If you just look at it, HAL. So anyway, Ripple is a part of that. Of course, he became a famous billionaire, Marc Andreessen, with Netscape, has formed several companies since then. A lot of them got bought up by other companies. Andreessen pretty famously also started the first cloud computing software company. Ended up selling it off for a bunch of money. Other things. When we're looking at the market out here today, we have a rare condition, and that is where we're getting excellent numbers for options, and where the option market makers believe that we will expire next week. Question in the den also. Avid, yes. Avid video production machines. We were trying to become a competitor to that. I advised against it. And that's why the company eventually blew up. But I had already left before they decided to throw all their IPO money down a rat hole. So it was pretty interesting. It was a great system, and what we did was made high-quality video at a price. And, I made enough, so I didn't have to work for anybody else, and haven't since 1998, so I'm pretty happy about that, too. Anyway, options expiration curve pretty much has, and this is one of these rare conditions, if you're watching on Tiger TV, and I'll go through the background for new listeners. If you go to the local horse track, or you go to the local dog track, I think we've got both down here. I've been to neither. I'm not much of a gambler, actually. One of the things that you'll know is in pari-mutuel betting, it is set up almost always to pay back 15% and keep 85%. It pay out 85% and keep 15% back of the money bet. And it's basically they just take a little off of all the sides, and pretty much that's over a year. That's pretty much what it's going to end up being. And how do they set the odds? They let bettors set the odds. They bet whatever they want to bet on and take a little off the top, and you're going to get a fairly decent idea of which horse is going to win over time. It is going to be, the odds are going to be correct 85% of the time. So it's going to be very tough to beat. But you can read more about pari-mutuel betting and how it's set up. But options are exactly the same. It is set up to where most of the time you will lose money. It is the same kind of math that goes in setting up actuarial tables for insurance. Insurance is not a way to make money. It is a way to make sure that things, when they do go bad, you get at least most of your money back so you can rebuild your house or whatever. Now, the idea is that options will most of the time go unexercised. In fact, 85% of the time they will go most of them will go unexercised. Only about 15% of the time do they actually pay off in any significant way. Now, that would sound like a stupid bet, except if you don't bet all the time and wait for the correct time to place your wagers, no one actually says what happens on that last 15 times when you make back 20, 50, 100 times what your original play was. And there are a few times when you get a very clear view of what options are telling you. This is one. And if you're watching on Tiger TV, you want to look at this chart. If you figure out where all the money is going to be won and lost, you can get a very close idea. And if you're watching this chart, you can't see it. I've got the April calls and the May calls, and both of them are lining up just a little bit shy of 155 on the SPYs for a week from today. In fact, it is a very rare condition to have this, and when you look at the way that it is setting up, I have a model that pretty much follows the same kind of betting patterns you see in both parimutuel betting and insurance actuarials. Normally, where you have about 85% of the time, you're going to find that this is right. This is about 96%. This is one of the highest things that tells you that we are going to probably expire more to the downside than to the upside. Now, each day, this will slowly track into higher and higher prices, but the bias will be to the downside, and the chances of expiring at a higher price than today is probably 4%. So you've got about a 4% chance of making higher or more money by betting that the market goes up from here between now and Friday. Like I said, this is one of the kinds of things that you only see come along every 5, 7, and at this level, the last time that options have shown this degree of predictability would have been right around in the 2000 market time frame. So while we are up here very closely, the odds of actually closing above 1593 now, 1595, and closing above that a week from Friday are about 4%. 96% chance we close lower next Friday than the price we have now. That doesn't mean that we won't pop up another 10 points, but it is going to be exceedingly rare that we see this price point exceeded a week from tomorrow. So anyway, kind of an interesting thing to watch at in options, but it is interesting. And let's get to charts out here. Wanted to look at Microsoft, MSFT, and some of the other techs after we saw pretty much a fairly decent reversal pattern out here in the marketplace. See if I can actually get a little bit better thing going on here. We actually came up with higher volume yesterday, and actually massive volume above the previous high yesterday of the November 6th high, excuse me, that $30.20. But I'd been looking back for this, for Microsoft to get back into the 26 or low 26s before this thing is probably ready to buy. We're, of course, coming down on even more massive volume. I suspect by the end of the day, we're going to have all that, but a fairly decent reversal pattern into this marketplace. Microsoft at $28.81 with 100 million shares so far. So, this is going to be one of the biggest days that we've had in a long time. But it's going to be very tough to get people to come back and bite at the apple on Microsoft. And I think you probably have one more quarter of down numbers. The one thing that would get this to pop would be Ballmer leaving and a real swashbuckling CEO to come take on Microsoft and get it moving. Well. Now, I know our friend in Houston was dying to buy Intel, and the money was burning a hole in his pocket yesterday. I hope he did not bite. Intel down fairly extensively today. Not near as bad as Microsoft. I suspect this will be a better play, but we blew through that. I wrote, we had Don in Odessa. He's not on the line? Oh, okay, we'll go ahead and with him. Hello, Don. How you doing today?
Hey, Dave. Thank you for listening to me.
Yep.
You just showed a chart of the options expiration curve.
Yeah.
I've never seen it charted that way. Is there a source for that I can have access to?
There is one that is close to it. It's called Max Payne.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Okay. Now, it is going to be close. I don't think they have a chart. I think they have like bar things on there or something.
Yeah, it's like an up and down graph type of thing with numbers up and down.
Yeah. Now, I saw that interestingly enough, and I actually wrote a paper in the March or April 2004 edition, 2003 edition of Stocks and Commodities magazine. So I've been using this a long time. And if you want a copy of that article, if you email me at path@tfnn.com,
okay,
I'll send you the PDF of it. I don't think it's exactly the way it came out in the magazine, but it's pretty close.
Okay, that's Path, P-A-T-H?
Yes, P-A-T-H at tfnn.com. I'll send you the article on it. I think that they do a couple of things that are just a little bit different than the way I do it, and I explain those in the article. I wrote my own piece of software to actually do it, and sold it for a couple of years, and everybody got bored with it. And, unfortunately, it is one of those tools that works a couple of times a year really well.
Yeah.
And most people try to make it like a hammer, everything's a nail. They try to use it all the time. Most of the time, you're not going to get real crisp reactions and a real nice pointer to it. But like I said, this is one of the ones where I've written some software behind it. But you've got basically a 4% chance of a higher close today between now and next Friday. Doesn't mean it won't pop 5 points higher tomorrow or something, but the chances are only about 4% that it closes higher than it does higher than today on a week from Friday. So probably not a lot of upside to this market left over. And probably the most interesting thing is if you watched options over the last 2 days, that number has not moved up. Normally a good indication that they're expecting it to really go back there and close somewhere around 1550, plus or minus probably 8 or 9 points.
I sure hope you're right.
Well,
because I'm already short.
I tell you what, I added 4 short positions in the last 2 today and 2 yesterday. So I think that we are at just like the Bitcoin thing. I think we are just within a couple of days what I think could be a massive move down of biblical scales. Frogs falling from the skies and stuff like that. You just don't go up every single day. This is I've heard people compare it to the housing market in 2007, and you just unfortunately in bubbles it's very tough to understand when that is. In fact, I was talking in 2003. I think it was 2003. Tom O'Brien and I were sitting up at the Wing place up here, not too far from where we're at right now. And we were discussing what it was going to take to blow the housing market up in Florida, because we knew you could already see everything that you wanted to see, that the bubble was coming, and it actually busted in about 2006 down here, right after the big hurricane that came along in Fort Myers. But it busted a good year and a half before everything else did in 2007 across the country.
I remember it clearly.
But we were talking about it then, and that was, a good 2.5, 3 years. We were debating all the things that was going to make the actual housing market bust. And I couldn't sleep anymore. I had to sell my house. I just knew it was coming. And I sold probably a year and a half early, but I'm more glad I can buy the same house that I was in there at the same price I sold it for in 2004. So no big deal.
Thank you so much. I sure appreciate your answer.
Yeah, go ahead and email me and I'll send you the article. It explains it a lot more.
Will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Anyway, we will be back in just a minute. If you do have a call, give me a call.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get
get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to tfnn.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of tfnn.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to tfnn.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of tfnn.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at tfnn.com.
And we got a phone call from John in Philadelphia. How are you doing today, John?
Hey, David. Listen, thank you. First, I have to tell you, I love that story about Champaign-Urbana. That is just downright cool.
What's that? What part was cool about it? I just remember it as being torture.
What was cool was your story alone, so thank you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was kind of glad when I got out of there, but it's one of those college towns where if you weren't part of the Air Force, you weren't part of the local town and the townies, and then the people from the college, and I just kind of regularly remember the computer club being kind of fun. But I was always, from the day I got there, I thought, oh my God, I made a mistake coming here. But it ended up getting me kind of the dream job that I always wanted. Anyway, what do you want to talk about today?
David, I just wanted to make an observation and share a thought behind the observation. The observation is this. Obviously, the past 4 days, the S&P and the Dow have gone straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Many other stock indices around the globe have done similarly. The U.S. bond market went straight up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week. And then looking at a number of bond markets over in Europe, be it Spain, be it Italy, they've gone straight up in price, down in yield since last Thursday. What I just wanted to, so that's the market observation. Just the thought behind it is this that I wanted to share with you. It was Thursday morning, 1 a.m. last week, while we were all sleeping here in the U.S., that the Bank of Japan came out with that plan where they have instituted, and they've already begun doing it, purchasing or printing money to the tune of $78 billion per month, and they're kind of spreading that out equally, and buying Japanese bond paper, 3-year paper, 10-year paper, 4-year paper.
Yeah.
And it's just very clear to me to see that it's either it's that printed money that's flowing all over the globe, in combination with investors in other places of the globe possibly front-running that buying, that has led to this levitation. And I wanted to share that thought with you. And the one thing I'm just watchful for is this. Given that $80 billion per month is forthcoming out of Japan, and the same amount, it's too funny that the U.S. Federal Reserve is printing the exact same amount, that $160 billion of newly printed money is coming into the market and it's buying securities. You know, it's not investing in plant and equipment or paying unemployment benefits or all that. So it's all coming to the securitized markets via dealers and what have you. So I just want to share the thought that there's a very big risk that I possibly see in attempting to top pick any of these markets.
Yeah, I mean, all I know is that if I suspect if we hold on here for just a little bit, we're going to see that this is a bubble. The reason that I'm pretty sure that it is a bubble and that this is the end or very close to the end is numbers on short interest in the marketplace. They have just come out, and I had it on one of my slides. I'll bring it in tomorrow. But we are at the lowest levels of short interest. I just don't. I think it's like Apple. Who's going to be left to buy out there? And that's pretty much it. We've got a short interest that is huge in about a handful of stocks and non-existent in the rest. This market is set up for a surprise.
I appreciate it, sir.
We'll see you tomorrow.